Hello, Professor. This is Brittany Herrera, CIT 360. I'm going to go over my self-reflective journal. I have not reached basic on all of the topics, but I'll kind of give you a summary of what I understand on each topic. So for MVC, which is Model View Controller, the model is the central component, and it's the application's dynamic structure, and it manages the data and the logic of the application. And then the view is like charts and diagrams. Then the controller is what accepts the input and converts it to the model or the view. So I've used MVC in a couple of different things. We've used it in a different class for like web pages. And the example I think I sent you was from our Oregon Trail project from another class. Each program likes to separate the logic. It's easier. And it's just common practice nowadays it's just very common to use this in programming. The diagrams, I enjoyed using the visual paradigm, and I thought they were pretty easy actually. So for use case diagrams, it's a way to model the system, and it just shows you who's involved with performing the actions. And there's actors in there. And then like the use cases are the actions that those actors perform. Then there's use case documents, and those are ways to organize or document. They're a written example of the steps. And so it helps me to look at those to see like how many steps are involved in each action. And then the system tests are easier than I thought they would be. And there's lots of examples online. Basically, it is done to test the feature against the user's story. And then sequence diagrams, basically I use visual paradigm again, and they model the interaction between the objects and the system. So there's rectangles for those and actors, and they show the steps that are involved in order for the system to function. They can also predict behavior with the sequence diagrams. So I like the diagrams because it's easy to look at them usually and see what's going on. State diagrams, they're again, I use visual paradigm for them, and they're used to model the condition of the object over the lifetime of the system. So those were pretty easy. So that was kind of the easier parts. I think once you get into this HTTP or URL connections, a lot of it has to do with like paths and like the exact thing that you have to do because you might not get connected. I did get basic with this after like watching several videos. But it's how you connect the app with the website, and they're used to read or write to the web sources. So Hibernate, I did not get basic with, but I felt like I learned the most about. I really enjoy SQL, so I got to kind of go back in there. I tried to get this connection done with PHP MyAdmin and MySQL, and I couldn't with either of them. But basically, I was able to create the database, even edit the database. I was able to get the connection to the database with NetBeans, but I just couldn't get the program to work. But I see how important Hibernate is, really. Because it gets the program related to databases. And I really want to learn how to do that because I feel first of all, I like SQL. And so that's just something I really, really wanted to get to know, and I didn't. But okay, so JSON, that is a way to basically read data and write data. Like basically there's data, and each program, like different languages, have to read to and write to this format. It's something you have to do in order. You have to kind of get a code to, and this is how it goes. Object mapper for Java equals the new object mapper. And then if you write to it, again, down here, here's the code to do it so that you can get that data. So I kind of understood a high level of that. And then I didn't get to the Java collections or the threads and executors and runnables. Servlets, again, kind of like is a little hard, but I did get basic because I watched lots of videos on it. And it's a way to store or process class in Java. And it is how we have to have them in order to respond and store that when we're working with the programs and web servers. Okay, so the application controller pattern, it's a way to centralize the commands by adding handlers to the application. Those handlers handle part of the program, and they do that by adding the application controller. It helps adding new features to your program. It helps if you can do this kind of layout, because then you can add things to your website, your program, and things like that without changing code to everywhere. So, and then JUnit test. Okay, so that makes it easy because you can test a bit of the code instead of running the whole program. If you're having issues, you can kind of run each piece of code and test it out. And then that way it helps with debugging and things instead of having to redo the whole program. But again, I think those are the 14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14. So that is a summary of what I've learned. Hopefully this is helpful. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate your time and help. Thank you so much. Bye.